Hey everybody, welcome to Parent University High School Choice Part 2. I am Stephanie Heilig, the School Choice Administrator in the Equity Engagement and Partnerships Office. I am honored that you would take the time this evening to join us for what hopefully will be a very helpful and useful workshop for all of you. So a couple of things before we begin. First, I want to go over what the purpose is of our workshop. I think most of you know if you joined us for part 1. What we'll do today is we're going to do a quick review of part 1, and I will show you, if you weren't able to join us for part 1, I will show you where to access part 1 on our website. Then really the purpose of today is to go over some of the site visit information, the application information, and we will save a chunk of time for your specific questions and answers. And so I'm here to help you out a lot tonight, and like I said, hopefully get a lot of your questions answered. So a couple of things. First of all, if you are nervous and excited, or both, or one or the other, that's totally normal. I think if you're not, then you're not really kind of feeling all the feels that come with choosing a high school. It's totally normal. That's exactly where you should be. We're getting close to a lot of those deadlines and information. So I want you to know, just take a deep breath. We're going to work through that together. So let's talk about how we get our questions answered. First thing, we do have a chat feature, and what I would love for you to do if you're joining us, let us know. If you're a parent, you can let us know what school your child is at. If you are a student, let me know what grade you're in, and type in there what school also represents where you are. So I'm going to take a look in the chat while you're getting that together, and then that way, that's a great practice for all of you to practice that chat feature. So you'll see the chat feature off to the right. So go ahead and put those in there. I'm going to take a look at the chat on my computer, and I'll kind of give a little shout out to your school. I'm sure your administrators and or fellow students will love to do that. So head on over to the chat. Tell me what school you are representing and where you're coming from. While you're doing that, you may want to grab a paper and a pen or pencil so that you can write down a couple of your questions. I'm hoping that if I do my job, I answer your questions, but if I don't, I want to make sure that I honor that. So you may want to jot down a few of your questions. Let me pause for a sec. I'm looking over our chat. We've got Marshall, Lindsay, Hughes, Tincher, Stanford, Cubberley, Lovett, Jefferson, Rogers. Let's see here. Marshall, Rogers, Stanford. I've said that already. I'm looking for different ones. I love it. Bancroft, awesome. Let's see here. Maple Village, thank you for coming. Keller, Tincher, Nelson, I love it. St. Anthony's, we've got some private schools in the house doing some representing. I love it. All right, so it looks like we have some parents and some students. This is great. Franklin, that's my school. I see it. That's awesome. Jefferson, Marshall, that's cool. Stanford, Cubberley. Look, you guys are all in the house. This is very cool. I also think that tonight can be a really great workshop for those of you that have friends that perhaps couldn't attend or are going to attend later. You can let them know all the information that you've learned, or at least let them know where they can go to find the information, because I'm like slowly recruiting you to be like my parent representatives out there in the field. We have lots of 8th graders, and we do our best to try and address all their concerns, but we know we just don't get to all of them. So I, again, really want to thank you for joining us, and I hope that you'll find this worthwhile. So I see a couple others, Jackie Robinson. I see some district people on here, which is awesome, some parents. This is great. Okay, so now let's get to the nitty gritty. You have your paper, you have your pen, you hopefully have your set of questions that you want to write down. Here's where it's important. During the presentation, I probably won't be able to check the chat. I'm hoping if I do my job well, I'll be able to answer your questions that are in that chat during the presentation. So if you're too busy writing them down, you'll miss the answer, and then we got to go back and repeat ourselves. So just take a second to jot down your questions, and then if I answer them, check them off. That way you don't have to worry about them. They're done, and then we can always revisit it. Once we're going to show like a pre-recorded video. Once that video is finished, the chat will remain open, but I will invite you to put your questions in the chat We've got a few people monitoring it, and I'm going to do my best to get to all of them. Now, little disclaimer. If your question is very specific for your child, I'm not sure you want to put it in the chat. The chat is public, so everybody can see it. There will be, I will give you special instructions on where to get those questions answered. It's probably going to be an email or a phone call to our office. And again, I want to make sure that I honor that, but this is a great forum for really general questions for the good of everybody in the group. Those specific questions, we'll answer those separately, okay? So I think we're just about ready to start our video. So you'll see a very familiar face and voice giving you some information on choice, and then we'll come right back here and we'll do some chat questions. So gentlemen, I think we're ready for our video. Oh, I must say too, if you are joining us in Khmer and or Spanish, there is a link to the slides that I'm going to present in the video in your home language. And we also have some interpreters that are on our YouTube channels, both in Khmer and Spanish. So if you feel more comfortable tuning in on those channels, check that out as well. But I believe it's just below where the video is. You can find links to the slide decks there in those separate languages. All right, without further ado, we'll go ahead and start the video. I'll see you back in a few minutes. Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Heilig, Administrator in the Parent Engagement Office. Today's workshop, High School Choice Part 2, will focus on the high school choice application and assignment process. We are a wall-to-wall pathway program district, which means that students select not only a high school, but also a pathway program for their high school experience. Long Beach Unified is pleased to offer almost 40 different pathway programs at 11 high schools across the district. If this is your first introduction to our district, or if you would like more information on these programs, I would encourage you to view Part 1 of our High School Choice Virtual Workshop located on our webpage for your convenience. We are currently in the preparing and exploring phase of the high school choice process. Current LBUSD families are encouraged to update their address with their school of attendance. New or returning to LBUSD families coming from private or non-public schools are encouraged to call our office or their current school office for instructions on LBUSD enrollment. If you've not already done so, please make plans to attend one or more of our site visits at local high schools where you can get a feel for the school's culture, speak with staff and students, and in many cases, receive more detailed information about courses of study and school offerings. You can also find a list of site visits, including links to agendas and parking information, by visiting the High School Choice webpage. Click on the Explore drop-down menu to find links to the agenda for the event. The application phase opens February 20th, when the High School Choice application can be accessed on ParentView. Our website contains a link to a step-by-step guide on how to complete the High School Choice application, but let's look at a few key steps. First, log into your ParentView account. Note the button on the bottom left, enabling you to change the language preference. Once you have logged in, click on the 8th grade parents Click to Open SOC application. For those with multiple children, make sure your 8th grader appears in the top right-hand corner. When you open the application, you will see a toolbar. This contains important information about your child. This toolbar will appear on each page of the high school application. Your academic and overall GPA are shown in the first column. The School of Choice office considers the academic GPA. Your English Language Arts and Math SBAC scores are shown in column 2. Some pathways require a minimum score to be eligible. In column 3, note the STEM index score if you plan on applying to CAMS. Column 4 names your residence area high school, which is based off of your address on file. You have residential priority here for any pathway program without minimum requirements. Your current math level is also indicated in column 4. This is also required for some pathway programs. We will skip ahead to step 5 of the application, where you will select pathway programs. Your first pathway program selection must be a program at your high school of residence. This selection cannot have minimum requirements. While this may or may not remain as your first selection, you have the ability to change your ranking preferences in the next step. You will then be prompted to select up to 3 other pathway programs. These can be at any school as long as you meet the minimum requirements. You are eligible for any pathway program in blue. You are not eligible for those in gray. As you select pathway programs, the top box will populate with your choices. Some of LBUSD's pathway programs are popular selections year after year and are known as impacted. They historically have more applicants than available spaces. If you select these pathway programs, you will see a pop-up screen asking you to acknowledge this fact. To increase your chances of acceptance into a school of choice pathway program, the suggestion is to make at least one selection a non-impacted pathway program. Later in the video, I will review those programs that are historically impacted. Once you make your selections, you have the ability to rank your preferences. Rank 1 is your first selection. Rank 4 is your last preference. You will continue through the application and certify. You have until March 1st at 11:59 p.m. to complete the School of Choice application. Between March 1st and March 15th, students are being assigned to pathway programs. Here are a few facts about the process. Every effort is made to place students in one of their pathway program selections. However, there are some considerations. There is a limited number of spaces in the pathway program and in the overall capacity of the school. Placement also depends on the number of students that select the same pathway program. Let's take a closer look. For pathways without minimum requirements, residents are placed first. Any available spaces are then granted to non-residents. If there are more applicants than available spaces, there's a randomized computer process that selects the students for the remaining spaces. For pathway programs with minimum requirements, students are ranked high to low GPA and selected based on seat availability. If a student is not placed in his or her first selection, the system will move to the second selection and place as many students as possible. This will continue through all 4 selections until every student has been placed. A pathway may fill with the first selections and may therefore not take any second or third selections. While we cannot predict which programs will be impacted this year, we can take a look at the last few years to see which have had more applicants than available spaces. Over the last few years, you can see the programs that filled with first choices, meaning no one could be placed if they selected it second or third because it was already full. This information can help guide you as you make your selections. As a reminder, the high school choice application opens February 20th and closes on March 1st. All on-time applications will be treated equally. There's no need to feel pressure to complete it early. Please take your time in making your selections. On March 15th, you will receive a school messenger notifying you that high school placements have been posted. Log into your ParentVUE account to see your placement. So what are your next steps? Current students should make sure that your address is correct on ParentVUE. New or returning to LBUSD resident families should complete the enrollment process. Make plans to attend the site visit at your high school of residence and also at any of the other schools that offer a pathway program that interests you. Visit our website and mark your calendars for February 20th when the high school choice application opens. Please leave a message on our helpline or email us with any questions that you may have. Our office will be present at all of the site visits should you have any questions. We look forward to guiding you as you select a high school. See you soon. future class of 2028. That chick's awesome. I don't know who she is. She's fantastic. I'm just kidding. It's so weird to watch myself and talk to y'all at the same time. That was a lot of information, and I know you have questions. I was able to get into the chat and answer some of your questions. I know that some of you are kind of just joining us. So here's what I first want to do is direct your attention to our website. So if we can pause for a second, gentlemen, if we can go over to the website, I can show them where to find all this information. So if we click over, so the first thing, if you go to lbschools.net, you can search for school choice, search for high school choice. On this particular, when you get there, you'll get to this page. This particular area here, as you can see on the screen, the video's not up, but I promise you it is working. Part 1 of our high school choice parent university, I went into detail on the different pathways, where they are, where you can get information. So you can watch the pre-recorded portion of it, which starts about minute 7, I think, or minute, maybe close to minute 8. And it's about the same length as the pre-recorded one that I just showed. It's a little bit of a review, but a couple of things are different. You can watch that at your leisure, and I would watch it with your child present next to you. That's a great thing to do. But I want to show you a couple other resources here. They're great information. This blue banner that's here will be where we will constantly be updating. I just actually added a few things today. So as we progress through the choice timeline, this blue banner will change. So we'll take some things off, we'll add some things in, I'll put deadlines on there. That's a really good page to kind of bookmark and to have. We are advertising tonight's Parent University Workshop. You're already with us, so no need to worry about that. I should say also that video is available in Spanish and Khmer. Maybe you need it, maybe a friend needs it. You can direct them to go here. This additional resources box is really a big deal. There's lots of goodies here. So some of you were asking in the chat, what are the different pathway programs? Here they are in English and Spanish. Click on that, you'll get a print up. What are some of the pathways that have minimum requirements? Not all do, but you can find that information here. This is a good one on some frequently asked questions, English and Spanish. For those of you that are returning to our school, your residents, but you're coming to us from private school, this will tell you how you need to enroll. Do you need to enroll? Yes. You have to enroll in a pretend school called School of Choice, and then you can make those selections. So this was just edited and put up there today, step by step how to do online enrollment. That's for new and returning. If your kiddo is already in Long Beach Unified, they're in 8th grade, and you want to know how to complete the application when it opens, those steps are here. It's a slide deck. So you can follow those step by step on how to do it. Tell all your friends. That's a great resource to have. Those of you interested in CAMS, here's your STEM index. And then those of you that are joining us that may have a SPED student, these are the programs that we offer, and it can give you where we offer them. And then if you're interested and you're a kiddo and you're like, oh, I want to take a interest survey to find out what maybe career I'm interested in, that's there too. But this additional resources section is really, really helpful for you. Our School of Choice office phone number is here. That's 8306. It's a helpline. You leave a message, and then one of our parent involvement specialists will be calling you back. You can also email us. So for those of you, kind of let you know, hey, you have a specific question, email us. That's probably the quickest way, as we're kind of in and out all over. That's the best way to get a hold of us and get some information. If you still are interested in exploring pathway programs, this is an accordion. You click on this, you can explore by school. You get all the schools down here. There's Browning and Cabrillo. We'll be at Browning on Thursday night. They have their site night. Lakewood is tomorrow night. And then maybe you want to explore by industry. You know for sure you're a kiddo. I like the arts. Cool. Here are the arts programs. Oh, I'm interested in business or finance. Engineering is something I'm interested in. You can take a look here, and these will link you directly to the school's websites. So that's a really great feature. And then keep scrolling down. This is the big one where we get our timeline. All right. So this will let you know what you need to do and some of those important deadlines. So I would suggest to you bookmarking this particular page on our website for just your use. And again, We change and modify that as things come up. I should mention also down below here in the corner, there's an American flag for English. You can change the language to Spanish if that will help you, and everything will automatically translate for you. So that's a really big help for you. So I'm going to kind of click back over and go live. I'm going to go into our chat a little bit. But for those of you that have some questions, take a look at our website and see if you can get some of those answered. Okay. All right. So let's take a look here. For new student enrollment, how does the district get 6th through 8th grade transcripts? So if you're coming in new to our district, you have to provide us with transcripts from wherever it is that you are attending. If you already are in our district, we have that information. It's already uploaded into the computer. So if you're coming in from a private school, charter school, your school will help you provide that information. And then when you enroll, there will be a space for you to upload that information, those transcripts. So I would suggest talking to your counselor at your particular school or your principal, whomever would be in charge of getting those grades, and then they can help you with that information. Okay. Let's see here. Will the grades from the next report card still factor into the total GPA? So for school, yes, they will. However, for school of choice, we will use both semesters of 6th grade. We will use both semesters of 7th grade and the fall semester of 8th grade. As far as the spring semester of 8th grade, it won't be counted for school of choice admission. However, it will still be included in your GPA as you move into high schools. Now, will they look at that? There's a really good chance that they will, as the counselors will go and program you into classes. They want to make sure that you're passing them in 8th grade so that they can program you into, for example, the correct math level or the correct language arts level. So for those of you 8th graders out there that you're like, dude, hey, spring semester don't count, I'm just going to hang out. It does count, and it's really important that you make sure you still continue to work hard and achieve those grades, because that's really important. Okay. Let's see here. Does the list of pathways show the requirements? Most of our pathways don't have minimum requirements. The list of pathways is all of them. If you would like to know what the minimum requirements are, you'll click on that resource in the additional resources. Okay. Which high school has the highest amount of APs? So I don't know the answer to that question. I can tell you that as far as what school you go to, the amount of APs that you choose is kind of up to you. If you're in a specialized pathway, there are minimum APs that you need to take. However, here's the big secret. You don't have to be in the specialized programs or pathways to take AP courses. Those are also offered even if you go into our generalized pathways. So if you are going into, for example, a HOSM at Lakewood, which is the health medical pathway, you have the option to still take APs, even though it's not required. So that's really an advantage for some students as they're maybe deciding, do I want to go somewhere where they require me to take APs, or do I maybe want to choose which AP courses I want to take? So that's a big advantage, and some students, it's something to really think about. Some students do well kind of in that accelerated strand. Others want to choose as they go through because they just don't know how rigorous or how challenging high school will be for them. So that's important. All right, we're getting some questions coming in. So give me a second here. Let's see here. Is there a separate application process for CAMS? So if you're a Long Beach Unified student, CAMS, we will place 54 students from our district into CAMS. CAMS is a consortium school, and for specific information on CAMS, you can certainly contact them. We typically place, the way it works is we go through CAMS, we'll place initially 2 students from every single middle school in our district. That's how we start. So we'll take the 2 highest STEM index students from middle school. What can happen is if a middle school doesn't have any students that want to get into CAMS, that may free up some spaces at the end. After all that is said and done, any of the available spaces will go to anybody else putting down CAMS Choice 1, and we will go STEM index top down, and we will take the number of students that they'll get placed depending on the number of spaces that are available. But we send 54 kids. CAMS also will accept students from some LA Unified neighboring schools. So for CAMS, I would really encourage you to go to their site visit. They can give you information, or you can specifically contact us and we can give you some information there. All right. Okay, so let's see here. Okay. Student that's been with LBUSD for 8 years. He lives in ABC district. So if you're right now enrolled in LBUSD, you're considered as one of ours. There's no need for you to go get transcripts. You should definitely secure your permit for high school. You'll submit that to the high school office, but you're within our district, so you're okay. If you are currently attending an ABC school and you were with Long Beach Unified, you're going to want to upload transcripts from your 8th grade year in ABC. Make sure that's uploaded, and we should have the transcripts from LBUSD. Your home school should be able to get that for you too. Okay. All right. So let me go back through. Let's see here. If you were out of state until this semester, if you want to get into a GPA connected pathway that has some minimum requirements, we're going to need those transcripts. The other reason why it's important is for our high school counselors to program you in the appropriate courses. They need to know what courses you've taken previously, so they know what courses to put you in. That specifically would apply to English and math. So we really do need those transcripts from 8th grade. You could call the school, see if they can give you a copy of it. That is something that would be really helpful. If not, we can enroll you, but you wouldn't be eligible for any pathways that would have minimum requirements. You'd have to go into the generalized pathways. Okay. I did have this question earlier, and my apologies for not answering it. If you want to go to your home school, do you need to fill out a school of choice application? The answer is yes. So unlike when you all that are parents went to high school, you just went to school and just, showed up and took classes, we are a wall-to-wall pathway district, which means students are placed in these pathway programs, or what we used to call small learning communities, and you have to select one of those. Otherwise, it'll be chosen for you, and we don't necessarily know what industry area you're interested in. We'd love for you to select what you're interested in, because studies show when you're going to school and you're taking courses in something that interests you, you'll be more likely, sticking to school. So for example, if you are not into technology, but you don't select a pathway, we're going to put you at a school, but we might put you in the technology pathway. You'll be miserable if that's what you have to take as an elective. So I don't want to say require, but we are like begging that all the 8th graders let us know where they want to go to school. Then we can place you somewhere where you want to go. So even if you just want to go to your home school, you do need to fill out a school of choice application. Select a program at your home school, and then you're good to go. At least we're going to place you where you want to be going to school in something of interest to you. So I did want to answer that one. There are some specific questions about minimum GPAs. So I would encourage you to go into our website on that resource and take a look there. For CAMS, they don't have a minimum GPA. It's a combination of SBAC test scores and GPA. The higher your GPA and the higher your SBAC, the higher your STEM index score is going to be. So I would contact your school counselor where you are going right now for assistance with that, so they can let you know, because again, we're going to be placing 2 students per school at CAMS initially. They're going to let you know possibly where you rank, or they'll know the other students that are considering CAMS, and they can let you know if that's a good idea to place that as a number 1 selection. Okay. All right. Let's see here. The appeal window, I'll get to that in just a little bit. Test scores. So those of you that are asking about where you upload, when you go to do the enrollment, you'll use your Parent View account. Part of that process will ask you to upload. There will be a space to upload, and we are asking that it's in PDF form. You'll be uploading that. Last year it was just one big upload. This year it's 3 separate uploads. So as you kind of go through enrollment, you'll see that spot there to upload it. Okay. If you are missing anything at the time of enrollment, will you be considered for school of choice? You won't. Everything has to be turned in by February 9th in order for us to process everything and get everybody ready for school of choice. We get approximately 300 students returning or newly enrolling into LBUSD for the choice process. So it takes some time for us to go through all of the paperwork and make sure that it's up to date. Okay. Somebody said they sent an email weeks ago. I'm not sure what email you used, but if you use the HSMS choice help, send it again, please. I'll check it tomorrow to see if I can make sure I get that answered. We don't offer sports scholarships. There's no scholarships that are offered, so we don't have that one. Let's see here. Do students who are in the pathways receive priority for AP classes? The only students that would, the way that it works for APs, if you go into the specialized pathway programs, they require you to take APs, so you'll automatically be enrolled in those programs, classes, sorry. If you are not in a specialized program, one that offers or requires you to take AP courses, there are certain teachers that do teach APs. That would be a question when you go to the site visits. When you're visiting each of those schools, you can ask the counselors that are available, and then they can tell you how do you sign up for AP courses if they're not required. But I know I have 2 children that are in high school. When you get the elective cards, it's something that's asked of your students. So each school does it a little bit differently, but that's how you'll get into those AP courses. Okay. All right. Oh, good question. Can all of my pathways go to the same school? Yes, they can. However, there's a couple of things. If you go back to the slides that we talked about, if you are choosing pathways at the same school and they're all impacted, meaning we usually get more kiddos than there are spaces available, those, if you're putting an impacted pathway choice as a second or a third choice, those are going to fill with first choice selections. So while you would think, oh man, I'm going to put down there poly, and then my fourth selection is going to be my homeschool, poly's going to fill with first choices. There are more students that live in that area than there are spaces for at the school. So if poly is not your residential school, it is really difficult to get into that program unless you're choosing PACE or CIC. So those go GPA top down. But that's really important to kind of pay attention to that. You're going to want to go back to that slide and take a look. What are the impacted pathways? You'll also, when you fill out the application itself, if a program is impacted, you're going to get a pop-up. It's going to let you know this is a program that's impacted. So we can only take so many spaces. If you're choosing that impacted pathway as a second or a third choice, most likely it's going to fill with first choices. We don't know year after year what happens with the numbers, but we're trying to be really transparent with you. If your desire is not to go to your high school of residence, and I should say your high school of residence is probably really spectacular. Our big 6 schools are amazing and they have a lot to offer. But if that's not where you want to attend, then you're going to have to make sure that if your first choice is impacted, that's okay. Try your best to get in, but make your second and third selection not something that's impacted, because the system will go through the first choice, then it goes to the second choice. If your second choice was already full from your first choice, can't place you. So then it goes down to your third choice. If your third choice was also full from second and first, it will default back to your homeschool, which is your fourth choice. So think about if you really don't want to go to your school of residence, you're going to have to give the system some other selections and preferences so that you can go there. That's really important to know. You won't get to choose from any of the 3 that you put down there. There has to be a space available for every single student that attends school in our district. So everybody's got to go somewhere. We can't overflow a school when they can only take so many to capacity. Okay, I think I answered that question, but let's take a look here. Let's see here. I think I attended that one. Sibling preference, great question. Do we give sibling preference? Yes, we do, if the student will be currently attending for the following year. So if right now the sibling is a senior and is going to be graduating, that won't give sibling priority. It's not a guarantee, but we do really try to do that. So the application won't say that there's a sibling, but your sibling will automatically be linked onto the system itself. And so it certainly will prioritize. If you have a sibling that is attending that high school, we will try, we can't guarantee, but we're certainly going to try to put both your siblings in the same school if that's what you would like. We don't want you driving all over town unless there are some cases where some siblings want to attend different schools, and we get that too. But yes, we will certainly try to do that, but unfortunately there's no guarantee that we can put all the siblings in the same school. So we're going to try. All right. Let's see here. If your student chooses one pathway, so if you want to go to your school of residence and the first thing on the application pops up, you already know where you want to go, you pick one choice. And remember, that first choice has to be something that's not connected to any GPA at all. But if that's your choice and that's where you want to go, then you can just give it one choice and let it go. I would certainly pick maybe 2 as a backup, but the system, most likely, especially if it's not impacted, that's where you will go. Most of our pathways, I should say, if you select it as a first selection, you're going to get in. There are many that have like 99.9% of a chance that you're going to get in. But the impacted ones run a little bit differently. But when you get to the application, the first selection has to be at your school of residence. It'll be one of our big 6 schools. You have to pick something that's not GPA connected. But that would mean you're a resident, you want to go there, and there's a high likelihood that you'll be placed at that school if that's just your only choice that's there. And then you can always re-rank them as you go through. All right. So most popular pathways from the last 3 years, it's in that slide deck. So if you go back onto the video, take a look, you'll see that there. So this will be posted tomorrow. You can take a look there. I don't have that comprehensive list like on me right now, but you can take a look there. All right. Okie doke. Let's see here. A lot of you are asking specific questions about, for example, Millikan and or Poly. Those would be questions to ask at our site visits when we're there. My department, myself, will be at those 2 site nights for sure. But we'll have representatives available to answer. Those are really specific, kind of getting into those weeds. I'm going to try to take some of those general questions since we have a lot. We have 240 people on our YouTube. So I want to make sure I get the general questions that are for the good of the group. And then those specific ones I can try to answer at the end. Somebody did ask about appeals. Okay. So I do want to talk about that. We didn't touch upon it. Once everything is done, that means that every single student in our district has a spot. Okay. That doesn't leave a lot of available or vacant spots for kiddos wanting to make a change. You are welcome to fill out an appeal. It can be for 2 reasons. Number 1, for some reason we didn't put you with your sibling. We certainly want to try to do that. Number 2, you chose a school that's not your home school, but you realize now, you know what? I need to go back to my home school of residence. Something's changed or I don't have transportation. Now, your home school of residence could be full. I'm going to use Poly as an example. If you're a Poly resident and you say, I don't want to go to Poly, I'm going to choose to go to McBride. Awesome. Chances are you're going to get into McBride. If you change your mind and you say, oh yeah, psych, you know what? I can't get to McBride. I need to go back to Poly. I've got news for you. Poly's full. Even though you're a resident, I can't get you back there because you were granted with your first choice. We gave you what you selected. So there's no way that we can do it at this time. Maybe closer to like in 10th grade year, you can try again to get back there. But that's why it's really important for you. If you're not going to go to your residential school, which is totally cool, you should make sure you understand how to get to and from school if you're selecting not to go there as your first choice. Because the system says, oh, you picked that as your first choice. We want to put you in that particular school. So it's very important. If you're going to select something as number 1, we want to give you your number 1 choice. We don't want you to change your mind down the road because we don't have available spaces to kind of switch things back. So that's really important to kind of make sure that that you've selected that. Okay. So again, if you need to make sure your number 1 selection is really where you want to go, change your mind after the process. We're limited. We cannot go back and put you into a space or a school where there are no spaces that exist. All of our the ability to flexibility to move kids around is real tight until we know who's not coming to school, which won't be until that fall or in 9th grade when kids move and whatever. Our department can't do that. So we want to honor your first choice selection. So that's really important. Okay. All right. Let's see here. That's a good question. Is the academic GPA that shows up in parent view accurate, or we need to speak to the school counselor? I would do both. So whatever shows up in parent view, when you go to open the application, there's overall GPA and academic GPA. If you'll think back to the video that was shown to you, the academic GPA is what the system will use. So if you feel that there's an error, and there could be, I mean, we're all human, you should talk to your school counselor about that. This is also really important if you attended a different school for 6th grade or for 7th grade. If those grades are not already connected or entered in by that middle school counselor, your GPA could be skewed or it could be off. That isn't something we can change. That has to be changed by your school counselor. We do not have the ability to calculate GPA. There's also a couple of questions in the chat from our private school folks about how the GPA is calculated. So we have our high school counseling staff and some of our school counselors that we have in the district office. They're going to look over your transcripts. We're going to count math. We're going to count English. We're going to count social studies and science. We're also going to count some academic electives. Music would count. Art would count. Student council would count. Robotics would count if it's a course. If you take a foreign language out of middle school, that will count. We won't count religion, and we wouldn't count an elective like a teacher aide. We wouldn't count that. Believe it or not, we don't count PE as an academic elective. So that is not something that's calculated in there. So for questions, if you're coming from private school regarding your GPA, I would talk to your school counselor, and then they can reach out to us. We can help them with those calculations. We won't know until those are uploaded into our system, but that way we can take a look at some of that GPA information. Let me go back to the chat and see what I've got here. Is it possible for my child to be placed in a first choice school and not the pathway? No, the school and the pathway are the same. So you won't get the school and not the pathway. You have to choose, it's the pathway that they'll be placed in at the particular school. And each of our schools have different names for their pathways. So that's a great question. All right, let's see here. When's the high school choice application due? It's due March 1st at midnight. So it will open February 20th. Great hot tip for those of you, we have 237. We were at 238. The application will open February 20th. If you're like me, I know y'all, you're going to sit there, you're going to set an alarm on your phone, and you're going to say, okay, I'm ready to go. Do yourselves a favor. You do not need to fill it out at 9 o'clock when it opens. There is no advantage to filling it out early. It's not a first come, first serve process. You're going to fill it out and it's going to sit. And no one's going to look at it until March 1st, March 2nd at the next day. I mean, nobody's even going to look at it. So I would tell you to wait either until the evening of the 20th if you really want to do it. Do it together with your child. That would be a great way to kind of celebrate it. If you're busy on that evening, go to the 21st, do it then. Do it on February 22nd. There is no advantage to doing it early. The other reason why I'd tell you to wait, there's a lot of traffic and it moves slow. And I know you're going to be excited and you're going to be anxious. So just wait till the evening, pour yourself a nice cup of cocoa, your beverage of choice, and fill out that application. So that's really important for you. You don't need to do it at 9 a.m. Definitely make sure it's certified and ready to go by the 1st. You can go back into it after you filled it out to change. If you're like, oh no, we're going to do that, you can go back through and you can change any of your choices. You have to decertify and then go change and then go back and recertify. You can call our office with help during that time. All right, let me go back here. Let's see here. So another question, we have to pick 4 different schools, or can you pick the same school, different pathways? The answer is yes to both. So you can pick one school, all the same pathway if you want to. Absolutely. You can pick pathways at different schools. That's entirely up to you. I will say, if you are selecting a pathway in a school, you are letting the system know that is an option for you. And if you're placed there, you are able to go. Oftentimes students select a 3rd selection and they just say, well, I don't want to go there. But if it appears as a selection, the system itself will tell, you're telling the system, that is one of my selections, and I am able and available to go there. So that's really important. You can certainly pick them all at the same school. You can choose different schools. That is entirely up to you. I would go back to and make sure you're not picking all of the impacted pathways, because that's going to be really hard for the system to try to find a spot for you. You may, if you don't get your first choice selection, you may by default have to go to that fourth choice because the second and third choices are full. Okay, so that's important. All righty, let's see here. For those of you that have our private school questions, because I think they're a little weedsy and a little specific, I would encourage you to either call our helpline, talk to your counselor at your school, or email us. I don't want to get too much into some of those, but I think we can help you kind of on a case-by-case basis because they're a little bit specific, and I want to try to stick to some of the general questions that we have that are here. Good. This is a great question. Alejandra, I love you. This is a great question. What if my student gets into the high school and he doesn't like it, or he changes his mind? Maybe like he did like it and then he didn't. Is it possible to switch? The answer is maybe. If you go back to what I said a little while ago, where I said there's spaces for everyone, you have to keep in mind that during 9th grade, every single student is placed in a particular program. Okay? So if your child says, gosh, I don't like it, or I'm really miserable, and I hear you, I've got 2 kids and I feel we get calls like that all the time. It is not possible for our office to make that change. Okay? At that time, there is an opportunity for you after, like in the middle of 9th grade year toward the spring, there's an opportunity for you to apply again for high school choice. So if you want to switch the pathway at the school, you like the school, but you're not keen on the pathway and you want to make a change, there will be an opportunity for you to do it then. And if you'd like to switch schools, you're like, this school isn't working out, I want to switch, in the spring of your 9th grade year for fall of 10th grade, you can apply. But keep in mind, it works the same way. There has to be spaces available. If there are no spaces available, we can't place you there. Schools can only take so many students at capacity. A lot of our really popular programs and pathways will still be at capacity. But again, they've got to write it out for 9th grade year. The spring of the 9th grade year for fall 10th grade year, there's an opportunity for you to apply to see if you can switch. That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Let's see here. So pathways aren't impacted. It's the school that can be impacted. It's both. So the pathway has a certain number that they can take, and that kind of goes with the overall school. So sometimes there could be room at the school, but there's not availability to make a schedule because it gets a little complicated with master schedule, but it could be both. The pathway could be impacted, but also the school can be impacted. Some of our schools too, kids will come and go, move in and out of that area. And so, it's very tricky to try to know and predict where those openings will be. So both are true. I know that's not a great answer, but both are actually true. Okay, let me see here. We are, and you guys are, I want you to keep hitting me with questions. That's what I'm here for. I still have 240 of you. I know you've got more questions. I'm looking through, I'm going backwards. Let's see. Let me check and see. I don't know if my folks in the booth can see something. I'm checking over here to see if there's a question. We also have going live right now our Khmer feed and our Spanish feed. So I want to see, let's see here. First choice. Okay, I think I got that one. Let's see here. All right. I think I've got those. Let me check. We've got some more coming in. Wonderful. Let's see here. It did that one. All right. So how do you create a parent view on account if you're coming from private school? If you are brand new, you've never attended an LBUSD school, you are going to go onto our enrollment button and you'll create a parent view account. Be careful there. If you already have a parent view account, or if you're not sure, the best way to do that is to go to your middle school of residence. They're going to check and see. So one of the enrollment clerks at the middle school of residence, you can figure out which school is closest to you. They can look you up. They're going to see if you're in our system at all, anywhere. maybe you originally enrolled and then decided, oh, you know what, in kinder, I'm going to pull the kid and put him somewhere. You have a parent view account. You won't be able to enroll unless you use that account. So the middle school of residence will be your best bet for those of you coming in from our private schools or charter schools, or you're moving in from out of state. Your middle school of residence will be able to help you with those enrollment questions. I'm going to stay on. I know we still have some chat questions. We have 10 minutes left. Please know that this entire presentation will be posted to our website as soon as we can get it processed and ready to go. I would say definitely by Friday, hopefully by tomorrow. I'm going to kind of do a shameless plug here. We've got 2 site nights coming up this week. Tomorrow night's Lakewood High School, 6 to 8 p.m. Thursday is Browning Culinary Early College. That's also from 6 to 8 p.m. And then we have some site nights the following couple of weeks. We break during high school finals, and then we pick it back up end of January into February. So if you kind of have all your questions answered, I want to thank you for joining us. I'm going to stay on and answer the rest of them, but this will be posted for you to go back in. I'll stick around and keep checking the chat for those of you that have questions. And I really appreciate you joining us. I hope that you found this helpful. So that'll be great. Let me see here. Is there an online option for high school in Long Beach? We do not have an online option. So all of our students attend in person. We do not have an online program. That's important. Okie doke. If pathways in schools can be impacted, can you pick the school in the pathway as choice 1? So the choices go together. You have to pick the pathway. The school automatically goes with it. So if you're picking, for example, Hosum, that's automatically at Lakewood. So you're choosing Hosum, and that means you'll also go to Lakewood. So there's no need to pick the school separately. You're picking the pathway, and then that automatically goes to the school. Okay. How does dual enrollment work with high school? That's a great question. Definitely for a counselor, but I can tell you what I know both as a parent and someone that works in the district. You can dual enroll, which means take college courses while in high school. The dual enrollment will go through Long Beach City College. Some of our schools, Browning, for example, has dual enrollment as part of their curriculum. Students will end up graduating with their AA degree. That's actually super cool. So yes, you heard me right. You graduate from high school, but you also have your AA degree, and that's awesome. So I would specifically talk to a counselor when you go to the site visits. They can talk to you about dual enrollment, but it is possible. I don't have the details on how, but I know that the high school counselors can help you out with that. Okay. Let's see here. How are electives factored into GPA? Again, I think that's Taylor. If you can email me, I'm not sure if you're coming from private school or if you're currently in LBUSD, but I think I can answer that one specifically. Activation key is, that means probably you have a parent view account. We've got to use that key. So I would go and contact your middle school of residence for that activation key. That means you have an account. We've got to give you that key so that you can use that parent view account. Okay. Outside district students, what happens if all your 4 choices don't work? You don't have an LBUSD homeschool, we'll place you somewhere. But just know if you're picking a lot of impacted schools, that'll be very difficult. We'll most likely try to call you and see if there's an alternative. We'll try to honor, your second, third, maybe even a 4th choice. But I would certainly make sure what happens after everything's full. If you're from out of district and you're on a permit and you're still here, we're going to try to do that. But if you've picked all 4 programs that are impacted, the system's going to have a very difficult time placing you. So definitely make sure one of your choices is not impacted. Otherwise, the system's going to place you where there's space. And we don't know where that will be until we get to that point. Okay. Let's see here. Does the district provide transportation? We offer bus passes to use the city bus to get to and from school. We do not provide transportation unless you are a SPED student and that's part of your IEP. That transportation is provided to you, and it will be provided from you for your house to the closest school that offers a program that is suitable for you. I should say that that's really important. Now, you don't have to go there. If you're a SPED student and you want to choose to go to a different school, you can, but understand that transportation won't be provided. So you'd have to forego the transportation, figure out if your parent's able to drive you and they have the program that you want, great, select it, we'll place you there. but the SPED department does some of our SPED placements for those kiddos. But for general kids, transportation is not provided. However, we do provide a free bus pass for kids to get to and from school. It is not unlikely for kids to be on buses to go to their schools of choice, especially for our thematic schools, which are 100% school of choice. The kids just love it so much that they take the bus and they go there. So that's information. Okay, let's see here. Oh, this is a good question. Thanks, Daisy. Will the pathway chosen affect which universities they'll be accepted in? Yes and no. I mean, the diploma will say the school. It will not say the pathway. The courses that a student takes are really important. So you guys you're jumping ahead here, but I have a senior, and I can tell you that as she is applying for colleges, they're looking at the coursework. It doesn't say what pathway they're in on the coursework, not at all. I know that some of the universities, certainly they know if you're coming from a particular school, they might be more familiar, especially our Cal States or our schools that work with them, but they won't know. So if you're in a generalized pathway and you've taken 12 AP courses, and you're in the specialized pathways and you've taken 12 AP courses, it makes no difference. You've taken 12 AP courses, your GPA is extremely high. So I would say that's more on your kiddo as your kiddo, being who they are and what they're able to achieve, not what pathway did you go into, because again, the diploma just says the name of the school on it. It won't say the pathway. That's really important. Thank you for that question. That's great. Okay. I think I answered a lot of them that are in here. Let's see here. If my pathway shows that I could take algebra again, does that mean it's easier to get into? No, if you're in algebra right now, you're going to be placed into geometry your freshman year. Unless you're doing really terrible in algebra, like a really low grade, I like it. I like it. Oh, let me take it again. It'll be an easy course. You don't want to do that because there are certain requirements you need to do to graduate. Repeating algebra again puts you behind schedule for on-time graduation. You want to go into algebra your freshman year, then you are on time to graduate. Something to think about too, if you get a lot of those graduation courses out of the way freshman, sophomore, junior year, senior year, are you a little bit free to take fewer courses and or some really fun electives that might be of interest to you. Okay, here's our place. Parents can sign up to carpool. We don't arrange that, but I would certainly ask when you go to the schools. Some of them do. I know some, the first couple weeks of school, kids go and they don't really know anybody, but they start making friends, and ultimately carpools they just happen, like it would for your sports team, right? If you play sports or you're involved in activities or drama, you start getting that together. So it just depends on who's there, but that's not something that our district will arrange. That's something to think about. Okay, so let's see here. I think a lot of these are really specific. We have about 3 minutes left. Again, let me just say, and let me remind you all, can we, gentlemen, go over to our website really, really quickly one last time with our 3 minutes left? For those of you, a lot of your questions are kind of real specific. I would encourage you to come to our website, check out all the additional resources that are here. Some of your questions are specific. You want to explore the programs by school, by industry. Those are here. And then our timeline for all of our deadlines are here. So I think it's really important for you to visit these and definitely mark your calendars for those site nights so that you can get a lot of that information answered. Also, and I know it's not showing on here, but High School Choice Part 1 is still available for you. If you want to go back and take a look at that, a lot of your questions may have been answered on High School Choice Part 1. All right. So thank you all. I mean, we had I think we had 240 or so, 250 at once, plus we have our Spanish and our Khmer. I want to thank you all for joining. There's a lot you could be doing this evening, but I appreciate you taking the time to join us. I'd love to hear from you on our High School Choice Helpline. You can call or send us an email. Let us know what we did really great and what we did well, what we can improve on, and we will hopefully make that information. I look forward to seeing you all at some of our site nights. Come visit me. I'll be at the booth. We'll be at the Choice booth to answer all of your questions and have some fun handouts for you all. Thank you all for joining. Be safe, be well. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Take care. Good night. Thank you.